to everybody across the globe. Thank you so much for waiting. I hate to do this, but I'm sorry for coming in so late today. We're having some technical challenge, but all the same, thank you so much for your patience. This is Honey Joy Live Experience. My name is Honey Joy. It's an online discussion that we talk about daily life experience. And for some weeks now, we have been talking about offers and how to set personal standards in order to guide us, knowing very well that we are going to be very vulnerable for the rest of our lives. I promised that I was going to bring a guest, somebody I know. I followed her journey quite closely, and I believe she can share so much in the topic that we'll be having conversations on. Unfortunately, last week we couldn't have her because there was back and forth, but today we are privileged to have her here. She's a lady I admire personally, and I think the first day I noticed her was when she hit my Instagram page with so many likes, and I actually took the initiative to go to her page, and I was so impressed with what she has been able to do for herself and is doing for herself. The second time I encountered her was when she had this hangouts, a meet and talk program where I was also there to share in the conversation, and I personally admire what she's doing. I know her to be Araba. I don't want to give the accolades by myself, so I'm just gonna hang the microphone over to her. Araba.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too for having me.
So, to somebody watching you, I know you to be Araba, and if I'm to talk about yourself, I'm going to give so many things. But I'll throw the baton over to you to tell us.
Okay, so as you mentioned, Araba. I'm into quite a number of things.
Okay.
Yeah, in this situation in Ghana here, you can't depend on one income. You can't depend on one job to make money because it's not easy paying bills and all that.
Exactly.
So I actually do a number of things. I'm a model. I'm a brand influencer. I'm into real estate. What again? I do career mentoring also. And what again? Maybe I'm still finding what to add. Yeah.
Okay. So we have been having conversations about self-introspection, and which is a journey into self-discovery, because I believe when you go out there and you are somebody that has found yourself, if not entirely but in pieces, you are able to give so much to the world. And on this platform or in this house, we believe that everybody is destined for greatness, and that is why you need to discover yourself. Tell us, how is the journey to self-discovery like for you? When and at what point in your journey did you figure, because I know you started modeling first before any other thing, if I'm right?
Yeah,
pretty right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So tell us, how did you start the journey into modeling, or how did that self-discovery all began for you?
Okay, there are so many ways of discovering yourself. Sometimes it's not dependent on yourself, but actually people can see your abilities. They can see your capabilities of doing certain things. So it was actually in that direction. Modeling wasn't something I was passionate about since childhood. It was something that actually brought out itself when I got to the university.
Okay.
So growing up, I was someone who liked books.
Okay.
I liked books a lot. I liked reading. I was that kind of bookworm. Like, I always wanted to read.
Okay.
So, I was that kind of reserved person. I didn't like to be in the public's eye and all that kind of thing. So all I wanted to do was just go to school, pass my exams, initially I wanted to do journalism.
Oh, okay.
When I was young.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was because of the reading and all that, I was also very good in English writing and all that. I used to write a lot. I used to write poems and all that. So even my dad wanted me to do journalism. Yeah, but growing up, as you grow up, things change. Your ideas change, your decisions change, your interests change. You start to realize certain things you love. You start to realize where your talent actually lies. So I began to realize that I was good in art.
Okay.
And I loved fashion too. So completing JSS, let me say JSS, I was very good in graphic design. I was actually one of the best students in graphic design. So my dad said, why don't I go and do visual arts in school? I was like, me too. I'm not that kind of person who likes practical stuff because I like reading.
Okay.
So he said, I'll be good in art. Besides, in my mom's family, there is that talent. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So I did visual art in SS. So as I was completing school, I started having thoughts. I wasn't sure of what to do in the university, because I had a lot of interest.
Okay.
I had interest in art. I had interest in what do you call it, in real estate. But I ended up doing fashion and textiles in the university.
Okay.
So while I was in school in the university, I was still reserved and all that. And people were telling me to go for, we have this whole pageants.
Okay.
When I got to first year in the university, and people were pushing me, I should go and stand for, I was in Independence Hall in Tech.
Okay.
So they were like, I should go for Face of Indies. I was like, no, I don't like those kind of
Is
things.
it the way you walked, the way you talked, or your
I think
appearance?
so. It was my
caused-
stature, my looks, like that. Everything about me looked like a beauty queen to them. So
Okay.
they forced me to. They were pushing me, and I said no. I actually rather pushed a friend of mine to go and stand. So when I got to, was it second year or third year? It was. I think I was meant to do modeling, or I don't know, because different people from different places
Declared it.
were asking me, am I a model? And I said no. They were like, you should try it. There was this photographer who kept disturbing me. You should do modeling. I was like, no. And I knew it had to do with being on the runway, having cameras all, and I was very, very shy. I was like, no, I won't do it. So at a point, I realized that no, it was becoming consistent. I had so many people. Sometimes, as I said, you can't discover your potentials through yourself, but through other people.
Exactly.
So I realized it came from a lot of people, and then I just decided to see if I could try it. So I started watching photo shoots on TV, fashion shows and all that. And lo and behold, I don't know how it happened. I just fell in love with modeling. So I was close to this photographer who had also started photography. During the time I was in school, photography hadn't boomed like now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But social media wasn't that popular.
Yeah, so-
Android phones and these Apple
Yeah,
phones.
so
were-
I decided. He started shooting, and because he said I'm pretty, so he said he would be doing shoots with me. And I realized that when I looked at the photos, they were amazing. And I was beginning to love the person I was seeing in the pictures. So I decided I would really take it seriously.
Okay.
And I actually had my first gig with a bank.
Okay.
Yes.
So your self-discovering journey actually began when the people around you were, contributing to your process. That, Araba,
Yeah.
you look like this, so
Yeah.
maybe you should start this and that. Then you fell in love with it because you took the initiative to, go read about
Yeah.
it, and you
You
just
know,
loved
when
it.
someone tells you are capable of doing this or you have abilities in this, you also have to explore that area.
Okay.
You just don't. Sometimes you just need to try, explore. It's not just about just being there and know I can do this. Sometimes even if you have a talent, you have to explore that talent. You have to practice it
Okay.
to realize maybe you even have greater things to do in that area. So that's why I decided to explore that area. I was watching fashion shows and all that. So sometimes when someone tells you something, you shouldn't just turn a blind eye on it. You should probably look into it, research about it, try your hands on it. If it goes well, fine. If it doesn't, then probably you know that maybe the person wasn't right.
I know you've come to love modeling from
Yeah.
your delivery, but do you wake up because when you come to discover something about yourself, it is a conscious effort to wake up to it and accepting it every day. Is there a point in your journey where you feel like you were forced or pushed into it and you would like to take a step back or something, or right now you can stay on the fact that this is what you really want to do for a long time?
Well, when you are starting, even though probably you would be confident at a point, sometimes you would lose confidence, and it could come from criticisms from people. It could come from how people perceive the kind of career you are into. And modeling, there are lots of people who have this negative perception about modeling, that models sleep around, because when it comes to Ghana like this, there's not so much money you could gain from doing modeling. So when people see models in, let's say, luxurious cars, living that kind of lavish life, they feel that, oh, she's going to sleep with someone, she's sleeping around and all that. So sometimes I used to feel that way, because sometimes I could get some men or guys coming into my DM, and then they'll just talk plainly like that. I want to have something to do with you, just because they look at your profile and know you're a model.
So that's basically the conversation that we are here to have today. The offers that comes the moment you start your journey into. I mean, I believe you are still discovering yourself. As you said, you are doing a whole lot of things now. Probably we could tell or say that it's because you feel getting yourself into those areas too is helping you find the true you. So tell us, in your journey, what has been some of the offers that normally comes before you, or that are normally placed on the table for you to decide on?
I've gotten quite a number of people. Some of them use this kind of line, this style.
Share some with us.
Yeah, some come and they give you so much confidence that this person is really going to help me, it's going to take me far. They come talking about your abilities, they talk about your talent, how they see that you are so good, you are intelligent, they like the projects you are doing, and they think that you need a push, you need something to push you, especially let's say if you have projects to do and then you need funds, they could help. So I've had I would say the last time I ever had such an offer was someone entering. He's even known, and he came talking about my projects. There was this interview I did in Nigeria, and he watched it and he was like, I'm so intelligent, and he loves the project. He has been following me for some time now. He sees me to be different from most models, and I was so excited. And that time when I saw his message, I was even in church, and we were praying about favor and all that. So you can imagine, I thought that this was heaven sent. I was having so much faith, but at a point it turned out that he was interested in me.
How did he communicate it? And how do you feel when the offers come? Right from the onset, it's as if I've seen a potential in you and I would like to invest. But moving forward, you realize that it was just an introductory statement or something, and you don't even end up getting the help anyway.
He really led me on so much, because he was being professional for quite some time. I think probably he was trying to win my trust. Do you get it? Sometimes that is what they do. They are very smart enough and try to win your trust by being so professional. And when they end up getting you to their side and get a bit familiar, because of how he spoke to me, we started chatting on phone and all that. So we became a bit familiar. And then there was this time that we were chatting, laughing about something. And the thing was, actually, he told me that he's an investor and he would like to invest in me. He even mentioned a very huge amount, like going into hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he asked me what I would like to do with that. I went to prepare my business plan, everything. It was not a joke, because opportunity comes but once.
Exactly.
You just don't play with such opportunities. So I made sure I was on time, went to his office with my team and all that. And when we were there, they were really vetting us. So you can get, you think that there's something to hope for. But after, he was like, he would take me to Paris, take me to UK, SA.
Is it for modeling or
for
just
modeling.
For you to explore?
For modeling. He was like, he has designers, he has people in Paris and all that.
Tell us, does the word or that statement, or let's say a quote, opportunity come back to us, does it scares you sometimes?
Oh, yes, sometimes it does because sometimes you get such a huge offer and you think that, life is hard nowadays. So when things come like that, you're not expecting another to come so soon. Like it could take months, it could take years. You could wait and then doing a career, getting into a career like modeling, you make money out of contracts, out of deals. It's not like you sitting in the office and at the end of the month you're receiving your salary.
Yeah.
So probably you can even go
So
a whole
the statement
year.
do scare you.
Yeah, it's scarce, and I know there are some models out there who also feel the same way. So let's say when they get such an opportunity, they really run for it. But at the end of the day, you realize that no, there is an offer to it.
But what was that one offer that came your way? And I believe the reason why you turned that offer with a gentleman was as a result of it's kind of contradicted with your personal value or standard. Probably you were not in that frame where you felt like you wanted to start anything aside modeling conversation with a person. So could you share with us at any point in your journey where an offer was put before you and you feel like, oh my god, this is a life-saving offer, I need to grab this. Then getting closer to the offer, you realize that the conditions attached to the offer contradicts with your personal value. How did you handle that situation and how did you feel afterwards?
To be real, let's be human, or we are all sometimes tempted. There are things that tempt us, especially even if you are hungry. And then you see people posting all kinds of yummy, delicious food. You'll be hungry for it.
That's
Like,
true.
you'd even forget yourself, and if someone places it in front of you and you don't even know the person and the person is a stranger, you might forget and even grab your hands on the food. So this was one, actually, what I just mentioned.
Okay.
This offer, because it was a huge offer he was giving me, becoming a brand ambassador for an international company, like
And did he appear as someone who could help you in that space?
Yeah, as I said, went to his office, they vetted us, and I was even nervous at a point because his colleague they are the two, they are two and they invest together.
Okay.
So one is the technical one deals with the money and all that, and the other one is the one who gives the money, like invests. He has the money. So they gave us about 30 seconds. Tell me what you're going to do with this huge amount of money. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And when we were going to his office, we're not expecting such, like, we're not expecting to get vetted and all that. So it was such a huge, because he took my passport. Yeah, he was going to get my visa stamped and all that.
Okay.
He was like, we're going to tour Europe, going to meet all the CEOs of the big companies, international companies, sign as a brand ambassador. Do you get it?
And you fell for it.
Oh my god. But that day he told me, when he said he was going to travel with me, that was I didn't think anything negative. But he was saying he was going to travel with me. Imagine traveling with someone, let's say you've gotten to know over a short period of time. Traveling alone with a person, and the person didn't say, oh, let's say you've met my team. Don't suggest probably one comes on board or something in case something happens to me, And because I believed in him, like I had some amount of trust in him. I was so happy, like I gave him my passport and all that. And like some days were passing and getting to weeks.
Let us understand something here. Well, were you in the point in your journey where you were hungry for the next stage? And that
Yes.
is why you let yourself in.
Yes,
Or
yes.
the package was just something you liked.
Sometimes in life, sometimes when you take up a career, there comes a point where there's stagnation, kind of. You realize you're not moving ahead. It's like you're still where you are. you see people in the same career progressing, let's say modeling like this, and then maybe I have a friend, or I look up to certain people, or I see people within the same stage as me getting deals like with banks or big companies, and then why am I not getting all some of these offers? Like, you become desperate. You become desperate, but something you shouldn't forget is what you hold dear to yourself, as in your principles, your values. Imagine, and whatever you do in this life, sometimes you can do something in a secret, but it can come out. And let's say after some years, if you've made quite an amount of money, and then let's say a company wants to sign you as their brand ambassador, like let's say a big company, maybe let's say here in Ghana, Samsung, MTN, and then you have this issue back where maybe you went to sleep with some politician, or someone, a big company, and then it's released. No company would like to associate
with you. Just
yes.
three of them.
Yeah, so that's what held me back. Like, and I have a lot of
But how was that point like? Was there a back and forth? Because I mean, like you were saying, there are times that the journey becomes stagnant and you feel like, oh my god, this is the big fish I've been waiting for all this while. So when it comes, then suddenly the word or phrase, or quotes, opportunity come, but ones will just come to your mind. Were you going back and forth? Did you feel like, I want to do this, maybe I'm being close-minded, maybe I'm reading so much meaning into the situation? Did you ever feel like that?
Yes, because social media sometimes gives us a lot of pressure. Probably you would even see someone who is below your age, or probably you started before that person, and you see the person is really making it, and you are just there. Let's say you see the person is traveling from here, going to SA, going to US, going to Dubai, and then you are there like way before this girl, and she's making it. She's having, let's say she's riding in one of the big cars, and you still like walk, you pick Uber, or you pick taxis, or even Chosky. And then like when all these things start hitting you, you start being pressurized. Why don't I give in to this offer this man was offering me? Why don't I give in to it? Besides, like, I'm going to make a lot of money. Isn't life about living the life, enjoying yourself? Besides, when you die, that is it. That enjoyment has ceased. So why don't I just give in? Like, let me make all this money. I'm just there. When would such opportunities come my way? Besides, I'm growing. I'm clocking whether 30 or above. And at a certain point, you can get yourself involved with certain jobs. So time is running out. Why don't when you see time is running out, you see others who are on the same level or behind you progressing, and you are just there, you get pressurized, you get tempted. So those are the things that start coming into your mind. Let's say you even go for a program. Maybe these programs we've been having, let's say VGMA or those kind of things, you go with your friends. Maybe you meet them there. The program is over, and everybody gets into his or her car, and then you are standing there. Oh, how will I get a car? You have to walk to the junction and then get a taxi or an Uber to pick. Like when you get home, hey, Charlie, do you get it?
I think I understand you from where you're coming from because of the field that you find yourself in. It's more or less like beauty queen, like you stated, and it means that you always have to be on point, and sometimes having these stuff has to do with cars, so just as you're saying, adds up to even the kind of brands that would like to associate with you and all that. So I get you so well. Now share with us what has been some of your personal value. I think you shared one with us, that is you considering the fact that maybe moving forward you just might not know a big company that you've admired over time will approach you and would want to associate with you, and you wouldn't want something that you did in the past become a hindrance or an obstacle. So that's a believed to be a personal value or standard you've set for yourself. What other standard standards have you set for yourself that you can share with us?
Okay, so for myself like this, I am someone who motivates, who mentors people, and then let's say I mentor people to go along the right path to make it in life. Let's say maybe you want to start a business, you don't know how to go about it, then someone sees me, someone who follows me on social media, sees how very determined, hardworking, and decent I am, and then the person hits me up. I start mentoring the person and all that, and then I'm putting out a positive brand out there. I'm mentoring people. People are looking up to me. People are being inspired by what I do. I advise people, don't do this, don't do that. And then I go behind this and then find myself getting involved with maybe a big man just to have money to buy cars, buy houses and all that. So sometimes I think about the people that look up to me, those that are inspired by what I do. And also I think about the family I come from. My family background also counts. You have to put out it's not just about maybe probably you have a strict mom or dad who would get angry with you when you do this, but look at your family background. Let's say if you are someone who doesn't come from a well-to-do home, you have to do something to make your parents proud. You have to work hard. There's also a point where when you don't work for money, when you don't work for the money you have, you're not as proud as when you struggle to make such money. You enjoy it more than when you get it freely, like someone just gives it to you. That one you can just display it and all that. But for instance, all these slave queens, when you see one riding in a car, but we say big man being a tomano, like she didn't struggle. Then you see the business she's doing. So sometimes also your family background, and also you also think about the future, and even sometimes things can, let's say if you give birth, your children can come and even see all these kind of things, because now the internet never hides anything.
But
things just pop up.
I think some of us have gotten to that point in our lives where we don't consider our kids might come up one day and they'll come and read our history.
Yeah, but it will. Like, you have to think about all these things. Sometimes some people just don't think about the future. They think about the present. They just want to enjoy the moment.
So you have to think about the future.
Yes. It could
be
one thing that could hold you back from being tempted by these offers. Yeah.
In case you just tune in, this is Anijoy Live Experience. My name is Anijoy, and I'm having a conversation with Araba. She happens to be a lot of things, and I can share with you. She's a model. You can look at her, or you can just Google her name at Araba after this conversation and know the kind of person that is educating us today. So Araba, what other offers? Share 2 or more with us.
Okay.
That offer that you really, aside the one that hit you, that offer that came that you felt it's a life-changing opportunity for you, and opportunity come but one just set in and you're like, why am I ignoring these people? At least I'm being too hard on myself. Let me just say yes to one of these people. Maybe that is how I'm going to break through, because I believe there have been some young girls out there who they started on that path and they encountered your challenges, and at some point they felt like maybe that's how I'm supposed to break through, so let me just give it.
Okay. Aside that offer, I've had an offer where there's this man who, like, he's a big man, he has money, and he was offering me a car, a house. Whenever I'm on vacation or I have leave from work, I can travel anywhere I would want to. Get me visa anytime, pay for my ticket, my accommodation, and then even money to spend, go to any shopping mall, like let's say Dubai, and buy anything. And wow, imagine something like that. People, it doesn't make me look bad being tempted and wanting this.
Sure.
Yeah, you just have to be real. Sometimes these things would really tempt you. Like they'll really, really tempt you when you look at like what you are facing in life at the moment. You are struggling with your career, and you just don't know how to move, go about what you are doing. It's like you're stagnant, and help is coming from nowhere. Like no money from mom or dad. Maybe probably your parents are not even alive, and you have such an offer. And some of them will even be influencing you so much. Like, look, nobody would give you such an offer, or you think if you don't take this, where are you going to get help from? See, like you've already told me the kind of house you come from, how you've struggled, you go through 2
Oh, so
3
they actually go
years.
to that extent.
Oh, some try to convince you, they'll tell you, see, I can change your life. Like, see what you are doing. What if I pump money into it? Like all those big ideas you have in your mind could just be done within a short period of time. But because of funds, you can't continue with your project and all that. There are certain things you'd love to, let's say you've put down big project ideas you have, but you haven't been able to accomplish them because of money. And then you start mentioning those things. Sometimes they try to find out like what you want to do, the things you've done, and then they start influencing you using those things.
She's trying to give us the indicators, so please take notes.
Yes.
So they start with.
Yeah, imagine your mom. Okay, let's say your mom is selling. She's suffering. You've been dreaming to change her life. You've been dreaming you would buy her a car. You've been dreaming you get her into the luxurious house and all that, and you want to reject this offer. Like imagine you've suffered for like 2-3 years or even more. Imagine getting your mom everything. She suffered to take you to school for so many years. You are done with school, and then just that's it. So what was the essence of the school? Such offers like that also come. And like they try to take your mind to all those things, and then the temptation gets so stronger. Yeah,
that's one thing that you can share with us as well.
Yeah.
Does that influence how you look at people's successes lately? Do you feel like, okay, let's bring this down to young girls that have managed to break through in their careers? Do you question it too much? Okay. Or you feel there are quite some young ladies out there who are still, living by their personal standards and still are doing great for themselves?
Okay, I try not to judge people by the money they have or how they got there. There are some, you see how they started and where they've gotten to. Like it took years for them to get to where they are, and probably they've already exposed their family background or their finances already. So, and as it has taken a lot of years for them to get to where they are, it looks very genuine.
Okay.
But there are some too, let's say, she came and then boom, in less than 1 year, she's in a Range Rover. She's doing like a lot of things. She's owning cars.
So
she's
on
owning shops.
This note, what single most important message do you have to a young person coming up, okay, who is seeing all these things?
You never know. People never show you their struggles, like behind the scenes. They don't show you what they went through. They can't come putting it on social media, like I went to borrow money from this person or this big person came to help me. All you see is their successes, what they've achieved. So doesn't it drive your mind? How did they make it? Do you think they just got up and made it?
So you believe you should ask a lot of questions? That's the first thing you have to consider.
Yes.
Okay.
But sometimes those who probably didn't make their money genuinely tell you that hustle, but they can't really express themselves because they haven't had that personal experience as to the hustling. They've not gone through that hustling to make it. But there are certain people who pour out their hearts, that they really struggled. Like someone could sell on the streets, helping the mother to sell, and then made money to achieve what he or she has made. And our parents,
we are so unfortunate but fortunate to live in a country where the people that we might be looking up to don't share their stories too much.
Yeah.
Now, when I go to the internet, I can easily find the story of Oprah or Michelle Obama. Well, I mean, anyhow, I would like to listen to it. But when you look at our terrain, I mean, they share the stories all right, but it comes out as we want to prove a point. So when you can sit behind your desktop or anything, trying to deduce something from what they are saying, but it comes out like I actually got there to prove a point. So personally, it really is get hard for me to learn. I'm not doing comparison here, but that's one thing I've studied. How do we work around all these, since they are not even going, they don't go to the extent of breaking the journey down like how the other people would do it. But yes, so you would like to listen to them to guide you. In these instances, what do you do?
There's certain things that are very very sensitive to certain people, especially during their struggle to their
Why
breakthrough.
is this sensitive? Because at the end of the day, you gain something from it, being good or bad.
Yes, but sometimes some people judge, like let's say the public judges these people when they sort of talk about how they struggled. Some think that they are trying to look for attention.
Okay.
Some also think that they, as you said, they're trying to prove a point. But most people are very, very sensitive to what they've gone through. Sometimes some don't want to show off their tears, like it'll be so bad for them to be sharing, and like it's difficult for them to express. Maybe probably along the line they lost their mom, they lost their dad, or that kind of thing, and it's very difficult for them to share. It was a heartbreaking period in their lives. But I think it would help if, let's say, they all come out to be talking about how they struggled to make it. Some too pass through certain ways to make the money they made.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you sit about it and
Because
think,
I really think about it as a young person that would like to really listen to them. And I think we shouldn't even look at the problem only from the public figure's perspective, but even down to the people around us. We seem not to have conversations about these things, because I believe when you share with the next person, oh Charlie, it's hard, sometimes I want to give up, but we don't get it like that. It comes out as I'm trying to prove a point, and the whole hate conversation goes on and on and on.
I think if people who have succeeded voice out how they struggled, as in how they toiled to make it, I think people could relate and at least have their hearts cooling down a bit to know that, oh, as I'm struggling like this, it's not because maybe God doesn't like me or it's just me, but that is the truth. That is how life is. You struggle to make it. This is what I went through. I went through 5 years to 10 years of nothing, doing nothing. I struggled. I was there. I wasn't having any money to start my business. I went through this for 5 good years. So if they are able to voice out these kind of things, then it lets those who are also coming up know that, okay, then I won't give up. I would push hard. But if you just come saying, I've achieved this, maybe just mention a little struggle they went through without really going deeper, then people wonder, so how did she make this huge sum of money? It still doesn't, let's say for instance, I wouldn't want to, but imagine when they are talking about Despite, they said he made money through selling cassettes. But there are so many people who were selling cassettes, but
I think if we should go into that, it's another conversation, because there are a lot of things that goes on in somebody breaking through with it. Maybe the thing that we think this is not quite reasonable for you to break through with it. But share with us. I know moving forward there are going to be a lot of things that will contradict with your personal value, especially since you've decided to take this model journey to the next level and to the globe. What keeps you moving? What makes you get up every morning knowing that no matter what, I'll live up to that expectation one day?
Okay, I would say the experiences I've had in the past have pushed me so hard, because I've struggled through life a lot. It's something I don't really like to discuss, but I will because
Why?
I would like to inspire
We
you.
just
I know, but you know,
oh my god.
right now I'm not really talking about my how I've struggled and all that, but I will surely do that. I'm thinking of even writing a book about it, and also
You're looking
probably
forward to that.
yes, probably also holding an event to share what I've been through.
Because Araba, I want to say this, that I mean, having met young people in my small way and spoken to them, they are really yearning to listen to these messages.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't like it when people that we've, based on our personal value, we feel that the way and manner they are going about their lives is not the way they're supposed to come out and share these stories, and we have problems with it. Because the thing is, we are not talking about ours. You are not talking about yours. So that young person will still fetch knowledge from what you think the person shouldn't be fetching from. Is this something that has to do with our part of the world, that we are not encouraged to, tell our stories?
Okay, I think I don't know for others who have already succeeded and are not wanting to delve deeper into whatever they've been through. But sometimes there are others too who think there's going to be the right time to voice out. There are certain parts of your life that are very sensitive to bring out to the public so soon. Probably you're even struggling through that thing at that moment, but people see you and think that, oh, you're living the best life. Like for instance, myself, people see me and think, they see my social media pages and think that like, Charlie,
But life is
everything,
good, yeah?
life is good. But I can't just come out and then be crying or be showing my weaknesses.
Sure.
When I am sort of a strength to people, I don't bring out my weaknesses. I would only bring it out to inspire people that this is what I went through. But I was able to push through and make it to where I am today. And, most of the young people are also looking for easy ways to get to the top. But it is not like that. That is what they think. They think it's just that easy. Because I find people coming into my DM asking me for money. They ask me for money. Some even ask me for jobs. There was this point in my life where I was even looking for a job. But no, I'm also putting out my brand out there. I'm also trying to build my brand. Aside the modeling, I have my corporate side. Yeah, so there were people coming into my DM asking me for money, and it's like asking me to help them. I should give them jobs. And me, I'm sitting there, Charlie, I'm looking for a job to do. I'm struggling. But, and that's also where I bring in branding. Branding is also one thing that keeps certain people from not showing certain things at a certain point, because you are trying to put out something for the target people you are looking at. But at the right time, we will voice out certain things. We surely will. But I want them to know that it's not that easy.
Okay.
Come into my DM asking for money, some asking for jobs, some complaining, some even asking for credits. It's funny, like all kinds of people coming. I remember there was this day I did an airtime giveaway. Oh my God! After that day, people saw me as a charity giver, that kind of thing. But sometimes you think that people need certain things, so doing these kind of things could help. But it doesn't mean that like we have everything to give out. We are also struggling in one way or the other to make it to the top.
Have you ever changed your any of your personal standard because you encountered an offer that you feel like, I have to let my standard down or my value down for this one?
Okay, there was this time when I started modeling. There was this period, when you start like that, you are in a haste to get somewhere, you feel that actually you have a long way ahead. And then you want to show off something, like me, I'm doing something, yeah, baby. So I had this chance of, sometimes there are these photographers who like shooting nude a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and they tell you, mostly they say they sell the nude to the white people. Like they hold exhibitions and then they come, and then mostly the white people like this kind of art, like nude especially. So there was this time that a photographer wanted me to do a nude shoot, and looking at myself, how I've grown up, the kind of family I come from, my dad was also a man of God and all that. And even thinking, how am I put out my naked body out there when people see me to be decent and all that? I'm trying to put out this kind of decent brand and positivity out there. And it was coming with a huge sum of money. And I was so desperate, because I was now coming up with modeling. I was tempted, actually, not like so desperate. I was tempted. I just started modeling. Seeing such huge money, I've not seen some before. So if, let's say, just starting and I'm going to earn such a huge amount of money, why wouldn't I go for it? I was so pushed to do it. But I thought about the fact that sometime in the future, this is going to go out. And when it goes out publicly, anybody has access to.
So you always look at the future?
Of course, I do. I look at the future. It's very important to look at the future, because sometimes not everyone wants your progress. People want your downfall. Some people want your downfall. Some people envy you. They envy how maybe you are receiving favor, or they envy your beauty. They envy something about you that probably they don't have. So imagine you doing something, and then let's say you are looking for an opportunity or an offer, and then this person who has envied you and even been stalking you for a long time, and then goes to release your nude. Imagine, let's say a lot of people haven't even seen it. They don't even know you've ever done nude. Okay. Like, hey, Araba nude, really? And then they just release it and it starts trending. Something like this will start trending. Yeah. And it tarnishes your image. And even, let's say I'm looking for a brand ambassadorial role. They all look out for these things. They go and Google your name. They look at the things that you've achieved, probably the negativities and all that. No, they don't want to associate themselves with such a brand. Okay. So you always have to think of the future, because the future can bring you something huge, and because of something you did in the past, it could affect you. So you always have to think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Araba, in a very short, summarize everything we've discussed to us, to that young person, that young lady, that young guy who has started something, who is going through, self-discovery, having to go through a lot of introspection every now and then, and the person leaves now society. What do you have to just bless us?
Okay, so as an upcoming brand, you always have to be strong. You should always put out strength out there, because people look out for your vulnerability. They look out for your weaknesses, especially those who have they have the potentials and all that, and people who have the money begin to see you, and they kind of see your vulnerability or your weaknesses and see how you are desperate to make it. When you encounter these people, they take advantage of your desperation and then want you to do certain things, and because you are desperate, you end up doing it, and you never know, in some years to come, all those things could come up, and then probably how people are looking up to you at that moment could just come down. You would really disappoint people. You would lose a lot also. So I want to tell those who are upcoming that they shouldn't be desperate. Desperation can cause a lot. It can cause you to do things that you shouldn't do. Social media is giving a lot of people pressure. People are seeing cars on social media, people driving Range Rovers, driving the Ferraris and all that. But you never know how they achieved it. Some people even came from very rich homes, and probably that is why they own those cars. Some also didn't come from very good homes, but they tried to maneuver their way. Probably they passed through certain negative ways to make that money and buy those cars. I want to tell you that everybody has his or her way of making it in life. So you just don't follow what you see on social media. Just try to always be positive. One thing you shouldn't forget is God. He should even be your topmost priority. Sometimes he can lead you. He can bring you favors. Favor comes from God. Like all these favors, you could get certain job opportunities that probably someone who is more qualified than you was supposed to get, but because of the favor of God, you were able to get that position. So you should always put also God first. Think about that. Don't lean on just your own efforts and think that I can make it. And then when you realize that you've gone down the drain, you've lost so much, then you go looking out for God. No, God is not a fool. for you to leave him out of whatever you do. He should always be your topmost priority. And know that whatever you wish to become, you would. Don't fall for the peer pressure, social media pressure. And in discovering yourself, you can always explore areas of your interest, like things you are interested in, things you are passionate about. Especially if you are not able to discover your talents, you can explore certain areas and realize that you have abilities in those kind of areas, and it could also help you. You can also pick up people as mentors, and some of you are always waiting for someone to help you before you start something. The youth of today, you guys are so dependent on others. You would always want to wait for someone before you start something, but no, don't wait for someone before you start something. You're always waiting for some huge capital before you start something. Start and let it motivate an investor, or let it motivate someone who can help you. You can be putting out whatever you are doing. For instance, you are doing journalism, and then you are out of school and you're not getting a job. You can start a blog. You can start talking about things on social media. Anybody out there, maybe any radio station or TV station, could come across your page, see what you are doing, and pick you, and you could become a presenter or a news reader or anything. So start something. Don't always wait for someone to come and help you before you say that I don't have this, so I can't start. No, social media, like the internet has made things easier. If you want to start something and you don't know anything about it, there's always Google. Now there are things that you can always go on Google to search about. If there is a field you are interested in, if you are interested in modeling, you can Google modeling and find anything about it, whatever it is you want to get into. Let's say for me, real estate, I had no knowledge about it, but what I Googled and read a lot about it, I got a friend who is also into it, and he's been teaching me a lot. So don't sit down and be waiting for someone. So that's what I would like to tell all of you. But the key thing is, don't be desperate. Yeah.
Don't be desperate. I have learned a lot from you, Araba. It's a conversation that we've been having, and I keep saying this, that you are a spectacle in the eyes of the universe. And the moment you start something, you have the Marcus, the Lucas, and the John. And she kept saying in her delivery that she always look up to the future, or she always projects the future in mind when offers come her way, and she's tempted to, pick it up. So guys, this is where we are going to end today's show. It has been an amazing time with you. I couldn't really interact with you because I think I got into a conversation, but we are really looking forward to bringing her. But I'm just going to give quick 2 minutes. If you have any question, contribution, clarity, you need clarity on something, just drop it. Be fast about it before we say bye-bye for today. But I see you, Clement. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see you, Albert. Thank you. Oh, Albert, you won yourself top fan. Congratulations. I see you, Ken. Thank you so much. Kisses from Ghana, and my regards to all Nigerians. Okay, so this is where we are going to bring today's conversation. It's all about setting personal standards for yourself, and she has made us know that you are really going to be vulnerable for the rest of your life, because self-discovery doesn't end. It's a journey, it's a process, and process continues. You can start a self-discovery journey for yourself, and your child might come to continue. So it tells you that truly you're going to be vulnerable for the rest of your life, but life is 100% your responsibility. And so whatever decision that you are making today, whatever offer that you are putting yourself out there for today, life keeps coming back. That's one thing that you should know. But all the same, I believe everybody is destined for greatness, and I believe you are destined for greatness. Same time next week. It's a bye-bye for now. You matter. But before we go, I've changed my social media handles. Okay, I actually wanted it to be very simple for you and I. Should we meet one day and if I have to give my social media handles out there. So right now on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, websites, all of them is Real Annie Joy, and you can see it on the screen. So it is no more Annie Joy GH, but this is it now. It is Real Annie Joy. So if you want to search for me, if you want to reach out, just look for that and we will connect. Thank you so much for always making this happen. Same time next week. It's a bye-bye for now.